Hi, this is Lynn McCool, and I wanted to visit with you a little bit about this week's assignments and also the upcoming major assignment deadlines for the rest of this course. Let's first start with the upcoming major assignment deadlines. You have two big projects left for this semester. One is a rhetorical criticism paper, and the other one is your persuasive speech. Your rhetorical criticism paper, which I will introduce this week and give you the details on what you need to do for that assignment, will be due Wednesday, April 1st, right before Easter break. So it's due Wednesday, April 1st at 11:59 p.m. uploaded to It's Learning. The second major project, of course, is your persuasive speech, and you've known about this ever since you gave or began working on your AFC speech. The final deadline for the persuasive speech delivery you can see here in the third column or third row, but let me touch on an intermediary deadline before the final deadline. There is an intermediary deadline for your persuasive speech in which your outline for your persuasive speech is going to be due Tuesday night, 4/7, April 7th, at 11:59 p.m. uploaded to It's Learning. So it is due on Tuesday night by 11:59 p.m. uploaded to It's Learning. Now you're probably asking why the difference in schedule. The difference in schedule is for an important purpose, and that is that on Wednesday in class we will be doing an activity where you will be reading each other's outlines and giving constructive feedback on the arrangement or the organization of the content material within the outline. So it's imperative that that outline is finished and uploaded ahead of time before class. So therefore, that is why there is the Tuesday night deadline there on April 7th. Okay, then your persuasive speech is longer than your AFC. It's 10 to 12 minutes. And because of that, then we have to have additional days with which to listen to all of our speakers. So we have a full 2 weeks of listening to speeches, and we will begin on a Friday and end on a Wednesday. So we begin Friday, April 10th, then the next Monday, April 13th, Wednesday the 15th, Friday the 17th, then again Monday the 20th and Wednesday the 22nd, and that really brings us up right up to the end of the semester there. We just have a couple days after that, and then the semester has ended and you're ready for reading days and finals. So both of these assignments, although are about 2, 3, 4 weeks away, that time is going to slip away very quickly, and so you need to begin working on both of them. And again, I will introduce both of those assignments in detail this week. Okay, let's first start with the persuasive speech assignment details. So the persuasive speech, as you know, is on the same policy topic as your AFC speech. Your time limit for the speech is 10 to 12 minutes, and your submission requirements are similar. So you need a sentence outline, you need your annotated bibliography, but this time I'm asking for 20 sources. You can bring over the 10 sources that you used on your AFC speech, which means that you would only need to add an additional 10. You can use that additional 10 in whatever way you wish. So if you want all 10 of those new sources to be for your side of the argument, that's fine. If you want to distribute them amongst both sides of the argument, that's fine as well. I am asking again that you have visuals, a PowerPoint that contains visuals that help to build the ethos and pathos of your argument. You will be asked to have 3 peer reviews again, and you will reflect again over your delivery of the speech. So the purpose of this assignment is to employ everything you've learned this semester to make the strongest case possible for the side for which you choose to argue. The persuasive speech is your magnum opus. In other words, this is the one assignment where you can demonstrate that you have learned and understood and can apply course material. Okay, I'm going to go through the basic structure of the speech here, but in another screencast I will walk you through a sample outline shell that should help you organize the information in the speech. Okay, so for the structure for this speech, using the speech basics you've learned so far, you should be able to apply what you've learned this semester. The goal is to persuade your audience to agree with you on your stance on this particular topic. So how do you go about doing that? Well, you have to argue persuasively for your side, you have to refute the other side, and you have to anticipate and overcome potential objections to your point of view. Because you may be able to convince some people for your side, but to be fully persuasive, you've got to anticipate and address those questions that arise in their mind. This isn't as difficult as it may seem because, in a sense, the persuasive speech is very natural. It almost writes itself. You've been persuading yourself most likely which side of the issue you will embrace for some weeks now, and all you need to do in this speech is gather together those lines of argument you've already mulled over in your own mind. So walk the audience through those arguments, and you should have a pretty decent speech. Of course, it's not that simple. You have to frame your arguments in a manner that reflects mastery of course content, and that's what I'm going to be looking for. So let me take you through the different moves that you need to make one at a time. And again, this is kind of an overview of those moves, and I'll dive in more specifically as far as the organization of the speech outline itself in another screencast. First, of course, you have your introduction, and in the introduction you should recap the issues that constitute the heart of the matter that you've identified in the AFC assignment. Then moving on to the body or main argument, you would argue your case. Treat each of the questions at the heart of the matter in turn, giving your audience all the reasons you can weave together artfully given within the allotted time. Remember, you do have a time constraint. Don't forget the 4 keys, and don't forget to make fully developed lines of argument. And both of these, the blue here, the 4 keys and the fully developed lines of argument, if you click on those on It's Learning, it will take you to 2 different pages on the Patrick Henry Rhetoric Ring website that gives you some additional information. After you've discovered and discussed your main argument, then you would move into the counter argument. Here you would briefly and respectfully describe the opposing viewpoint. And remember that a really persuasive speaker not only makes his or her case and refutes the others, but also anticipates and overcomes potential objections to his or her arguments. So you might be thinking right now, well, how in the world do I do that? Well, it's not as hard as it sounds. Reflect on the process you went through to persuade yourself which side to defend. There were no doubt big thorny questions that gave you pause along the way. Right. You can anticipate that similar questions will arise for some of your audience members during the speech. All you have to do is try to anticipate when that question might arise, raise it yourself by means of a rhetorical question, and then discuss it. For example, say you're arguing for capital punishment. At some point in your speech, you're going to have to deal with the objection that it entails cruel and unusual punishment, which is constitutionally prescribed. What I would do is at that point of the speech, where I would anticipate some members who would be thinking, hey, wait a minute, that sure sounds like cruel and unusual to me, I would acknowledge the question, admit that I've grappled with it myself, and then quote some authorities on the subject. People who learn to make this move at just the right time are excellent persuasive speakers. After you've addressed the counterargument, you can move into the rebuttal, and here you're going to refute the opposing side you agree with. Refutation is a big part of argumentation, and this is where the excerpts from Weaver's chapter on argumentation, and again, because it's blue here, if you click on it, that link will take you to the place on the Rhetoric Ring on Patrick Henry's website. These excerpts will come in handy. Reread the Weaver pages at this time, and you will get more out of the practical reasoning tutorial at this time too. Because the aim of many of my highlighted comments are to help you refute the arguments at the heart of the controversy. This information, along with this fallacies exercise, which if you click here will take you to that, will tell you how to answer the questions posted on the Practical Persuasion discussion post and the common material fallacies or tests for truth. Again, each of the blue phrases there will take you to different links for additional information. The most direct way to refute your opponent's arguments is to name and explain any fallacies you find abiding there. Be careful of overkill, more is not better. Identify the 2 or 3 fallacies you think are most critical to the argument at hand. Name them and explain where they appear in the opposing view. Do not misrepresent your opponent's view. That will only damage your ethos and produce doubt in your audience's mind regarding your trustworthiness. After you have finished the refutation, you can move into the conclusion. There are several important moves in the conclusion. First, you do need to signal that you're about to close, and that's as simple as saying, "So in conclusion," or "to conclude," or "in summary," something. Cue your audience. Next, you want to give a brief summary of the major points of your argument, but you do not want to stop there. That's only the beginning. After you've briefly summarized your main points, make an appeal to the pathos. Perhaps you finish a narrative that you've begun earlier, but appeal again to pathos. Create another appeal or reminder to the ethos that you established earlier, and then move into answering the "so what" question. What do you want your audience to do with this information? Create a call to action or a call for a change in belief, and this is your most crucial step. Tell them what you want them to do. Give them specifics. And this may be accomplished in various ways using common concluding devices, and again, you can click here for some additional suggestions. So what should you do next? Well, you'll want to review your source material, add your additional 10 sources to your annotated bibliography. Remember, you should have a total of 20. Mark quotations with their citations that you think will be useful in the speech as you're reading through your source information. Because remember, this is the speech where you want to pull out your best stuff. You no doubt have quotations you've been hanging on to or thinking about. This will be, great to use in this persuasive speech. So dust them off, use them now. Collect visuals that help to illustrate your points, but do not use PowerPoint to project your entire speech outline. Do not do that. I will take away lots of points if you do that. Use all the tools and concepts you've learned this semester. Organize your speech well. And again, I'll talk about a suggested organizational pattern that you might use in another screencast. Focus on the questions at the heart of the controversy. Don't get bogged down in policy details and minutia. Identify fallacies, and don't forget to paint pictures with words. That's what we're looking at this week. End with an appeal to action. Remember, the end of persuasion is action. What do you want the audience to do? After you've given your speech, upload all artifacts to the It's Learning Persuasive Speech assignment space, and that would include your sentence outline, your annotated bibliography, your visuals that are incorporated into a PowerPoint, and your reflection. One other thing I might mention is that if you're having trouble connecting with the links on this page, try using Control-Click for a PC or Apple Click for a Mac. All right, I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks. Bye.